Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Dwayne Kimball, owner and founder of KMD 89 VA Claims Consultant. Leave no vet behind, and you are going live with me this evening. I'm going to be talking about some new topics that I've wanted to discuss over this past month. So before I even get started, I will be taking questions, but I wanted to wish everyone a happy new year. I want to wish everyone a happy new year, and I hope that things are starting out strong. You set some resolutions for you. I do apologize. I normally go live in the middle of the month. Then I was like, I'll just do it next week. And we're already at the end of this month, and there's no next week for January. So I wanted to make sure I go live and discuss some things as it pertains to the VA claims process. And during this time, I'm going to be taking some questions as well. So feel free to ask those. Okay. And the first thing that I wanted to let me get back to my comments is okay. All right. So who we got in here? Come back, Craig. What's up? I see you, man. Major pain. Let's do it, bro. All right. I'm here, man. We're gonna do it. Paratrooper girl. I know you all about that 82nd Airborne, but you know first cab does lead the way. All right. Meathead, good evening. How you doing? CSM, Command Sergeant Major, I'm presuming. Long time listener, first time caller. All right, that's what I'm talking about. All right, so I'm going to go over some topics. I see you, Ray Blackman, certified public accountant. So I see you there. All right, so one thing I wanted to talk about first was, one, I want to thank everybody for subscribing to my channel, leaving the comments, emails. I really appreciate it. Hope you like the educational videos that I uploaded. I have my vision board here with about 4 topics on different topics that I want to talk about throughout this upcoming year. Okay, but first, I just wanted to, and I printed out a piece of paper because I decided to build a desk. And of course, I put too much polyurethane on it. It was in the office, it caused me to have headaches, so I had to sit it out back, let it dry a little bit. So I'm on my laptop. So please bear with me, okay? But I've been getting a lot of requests from veterans that wanted me to represent them before the VA or advise them before the VA. I'm not a claims agent. I'm not a lawyer. I don't aspire to be a claims agent. I didn't want to go that route. I want to be able to educate veterans on this process so they can maximize their benefits. Okay. I don't have anything against lawyers or claims agents. One thing we all have in common is we want the veteran to succeed as it pertains to the VA disability compensation claims process. Okay. So with that being said, in all my videos, in the description section, when you click that show more button, there's a disclaimer. And in that disclaimer, I do state that I don't advise or represent veterans. I'm not a VA employee. Don't make myself out to be. I'm providing my opinion and, just some educational videos and informative videos so veterans can take that information and they take it and do with it as they see fit as it pertains to their VA disability compensation claims process. Okay. I mean, their VA disability compensation claims. All right. So just wanted to put that out there. A lot of people have been calling me saying, hey, I need you to fill out this form. I don't fill out forms for veterans or anything like that. So I'm not going to continue to talk about it. That's it. But the disclaimer is in the description section. Okay. Updated training. I had some training updated for January. I have one training left for this this month, which is this Saturday, how to be successful on the VA compensation claims process. And I'm going to update that training for next month as well. So some of the training that I did this month was how to be successful on the VA disability compensation claims process. That's about a 3 or 4 hour training, depending on the number of individuals that's in the training. And there's about 9 or 10 topics that I discussed: the importance of intent to file, the 5 ways of service connection, PTSD stressors, combat, non-combat, combat medals, presumptives, Agent Orange presumptive, Gulf War presumptive, 1 year, 3 year, 7 year presumptive, Camp Lejeune contaminated water presumptive. Also talk about individual unemployability. What are some of the schedule criteria for individual unemployability? Diagnostic codes. I even give a quiz. Okay, give an example of. Just lost my train of thought. Give an example of a rating code sheet. Okay, what's in a rating code sheet? And I recently added nexus statement. What information goes into a nexus statement, and what does a nexus statement look like? Okay, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit later because I've been seeing a lot of nexus statements veterans been sending to me, and they're still getting it wrong. Okay, and also one of the trainings that I did this month was how to review a PTSD or other than mental PTSD disability benefit questionnaire, also known as DBQ. Okay, and then another training was what's the other training I did? Yeah, it was the nexus statement. Okay, and again, this was just about an hour long. Where it talked about the information that needed to go into a nexus statement to include a medical opinion and rationale. They had a video on it. A lot of veterans are still missing the rationale piece of the nexus statement. Okay, so I did a training on that. I was talking to a veteran earlier today and was talking about a CUE, and I had a client that just actually won a CUE without even filing a higher level review. I did a video on CUEs, clear unmistakable error. I think I'm going to add that to the training list for February. So be on the lookout. It's on my website. I have the link to my website in the description section of this live stream, and it's in the description section of some of my other videos. Okay, so we got about 53 people. Start asking questions, everyone. I'm gonna pause here. And I'll bring the question up on the screen so other people can see it. For paratrooper girl say, whatever, dude. First calf lead the way. Just my initials. Okay, I see you. Hello, Mr. Canty. How we doing? Stephanie Hurt. Evening. Live the legend. Okay, I see you. ATX Patriot. How you doing? Hope you. How's that quota going? I heard that some RVSR previous coworkers said they just changed that quota. I hope with the new administration, it's not too rough. Okay. All right. So with that being said, that's the updated training that I'm going to be doing. So just make sure, I'm going to go back to this nexus statement. I was talking to a veteran, I want to say end of last year. They shared their nexus statement. They wanted me to review it. I reviewed it, and some things were missing. About 2 or 3 important things were missing. Okay, so take the training. Look, if you don't want to take the training, go back. Go to the M21. Google, or not Google, but go to Google and search for the M21 manual reference. Okay, and look in the M21 and do a search for a nexus statement, and it'll give you some information. Okay, but I'm going to do that training, and all the training that I'm going to be doing is going to be twice. It's going to do it. It's going to be available for 2 times during the month of February. Okay, but before you go out and you spend any money, look at what goes into a nexus statement. Find that out. What goes into a nexus statement? Okay, I'm gonna keep just drilling that into veterans. Become educated on what goes into a nexus statement. All right. Now, that's not to say that RVSR that gets it, they're going to use it. Now you need to know, okay, what are your rights as a veteran if that RVSR doesn't use it. Okay. But you want to make sure you do your part to ensure that all the information is there. Okay. We'll go ahead. I'm going to take some questions here. Let me bag up. Let's see. Willie Marshall, good afternoon. Good evening. I'm sorry. Let's see what we got here. Major Pain. Major Pain says, Wayne, I think the vets are not understanding which disabilities can be rated and what are the highest possible rating percentages. PTSD can be higher rating than say tinnitus. Oh, you know what? Major Pain, you are correct. And one of my videos, I think I did, I can't remember if it was the last video of 2020 or the first video of 2021, but knowing what you are service connected for. Okay, that's what Major Pain is talking about, basically knowing what you're service connected for. Because when you know what you're service connected for and you have that diagnostic code, then you could go to the rating scheduler in 38 CFR, I think it's subpart C, and see the criteria for each percentage for that particular condition you're service connected for, and you'll see if it's maxed out. That's very important. And I talked about it in that video, knowing what you're service connected for, because when you go in for an increase, what if you're already maxed out? And other video where I talked about the protection rule, okay, when it comes to being reduced, if that percentage has been in effect less than 5 years, then they could reduce that. Okay, if it's been in effect more than 5 years, they need 2 exams to do a reduction. Okay, so not only do you want to know if you're maxed out for that particular condition, you want to know how long it's been in effect. And again, you need a copy of your claims file. In the description section of my videos, I tell you or show you what I did to obtain a copy of my claims file on CD. And I even talked about it in one of my videos last year. Okay. And the reason why, when you get it, when you know that effective date for that particular percentage, guess where it's going to be? It's going to be on a rating code sheet. And also in the training I provide, the educational training, how to be successful on the VA disability compensation claims process, I show an actual rating code sheet and what it looks like. Okay, so you want to have all that information in your arsenal, especially if you're trying to do an increase, you're thinking about doing a high-level review. You have all the information that the VA has when it comes to reviewing your file. Okay. All right. Thank you. Let's see. Let's take some other questions here. Bronx Zoo. Bronx Zoo says, how does SMCS works? Okay. So SMCS can be granted 2 different ways. And I did a video on SMCs last year, SMCK, SMC S and SMCL. S is housebound, L is aid in attendance. Okay. SMCS can be granted if the veteran is deemed to be housebound. That's one way. But the majority of the time, it's granted when a veteran has one disability rated at 100%. One disability. For example, if PTSD is at 100% all by itself, and then you have other service-connected disabilities that total 60% or higher. So, for example, if the veteran has PTSD at 100%, okay, and then they're service-connected for, let's say, sleep apnea at 50% and migraines at 50%, and the back at 10%, okay, they qualify scheduler for SMCS, okay? So it's 2 different ways that you can be granted SMCS. And again, how do you know if you are? I have an Excel spreadsheet that has that I can calculate the percentage. There is a rating table in the 38 CFR if you know how to use it. I have it in my old rating schedule I have on my desk. But if you know how to read it, then you know if you warrant SMCS. So first thing, you have to have one disability rated at 100%. Now, let's just say you don't have one disability rated at 100%, but you've been granted individual unemployability. Now, if you were granted individual unemployability and your PTSD was at 70%, in the same scenario that I just gave you as it pertains to migraines, being service connected for migraines at 50, the back at 10, and sleep apnea at 50. The rater can use that 70%, which was used to grant individual unemployability, that can be used as your single 100%. Okay, now, unless something changed in the last year or so with that, then they can use that and grant you SMCS. Okay, so I hope I was able to answer that question for you, Bronx Zoo. All right, let's see what else we got. Okay. Greentown P asks, what do nurses ask when they interview me and my caregiver for the caregiver program? Greentown, I wish I could answer that. That's a benefit on VHA, Veterans Healthcare Administration, and a lot of stuff that I'm talking about is on VBA, Veterans Benefit Administration. I know veterans that their spouses or the domestic partner, whatever, that they have been granted the caregiver, but I don't know what questions that they ask. I'm pretty sure they'll probably ask you something like, if you're saying that you can't climb a flight of steps because you're service connected for sciatic nerve or in the lower extremities or something with the femoral nerve like peripheral neuropathy, radiculopathy, or you're service connected for knees and ankles and you can't climb those flight of steps, or you're service connected for corporal tunnel. That means the median nerve in both upper extremities, and you can't cook, you can't hold a pot, you can't grip it. Maybe they may ask you, well, your caregiver will have to take care of those things for you because you can't. If you need help bathing, you can't stand up in the shower, and you need a stool, and you need somebody to wash your back or something like that. Those could possibly be questions, but I don't know because I haven't. I don't receive that benefit, but that's something on the healthcare side. Okay, who's this? Stephen Bowering, 25th. Is that 25th Infantry Division, ID Tropic Lighting? Okay. All right, let's see what else we got. Amos from South Carolina here. Okay, I see you. What part of SC from? Atlantic Beach in North, not Miami Beach, Atlantic Beach in North Myrtle Beach. Is that where you're located? Let's see. Take one more question here. John Thompson, it says, is it hard to get 100% PNT if currently at 60% PTSD? Well, there's not a 60% for any mental condition. If you are service connected for a mental condition, or you're looking to get service connected for a mental condition, it's going to be either rated at 0, 10, 50, 70, or 100%. Okay. But, let's just say if you're at 50% for PTSD, then, you're looking at the rating schedule for the criteria for 70 and 10%, the occupational impairment section, and then the symptoms in section 3 on the DBQ, but those are listed in the rating schedule as well. So that's just going to depend on, discussion that you have with either the CMP examiner or your private psychiatrist or psychologist that's completing the DBQ for you. All right. Got here Raymond Blackman, certified public accountant. Okay. I understand that there is a new update to the 38 CFR for musculatorial that will happen on February 7th next month. What is the impact to new claims going forward? You are correct, Ray, and it was on the tip of my tongue. I remember I looked at this last month, and I believe it's February 7th that is going to take effect. And I'm glad you brought that up. I haven't went back and looked at it. I looked at it once. And what they're doing right now on the diagnostic code 5055 is a knee replacement. Okay. And what they're saying is right now, if you're, service connected for the knee and you have a knee replacement, well, they're going to give you 13 months temporary convalescence on the paragraph 30, 13 months convalescence, okay, at 100%. So what that means is you go up to, if you're at 10% for that knee, you go up to 100% for 13 months, okay? And then they're going to drop you back down to 30%, okay? Now, according to this new guideline, and I need to do some more research on this, but what I saw was they're going to not give you that 13 months, okay? It's going to be based off of if you're in physical therapy, if you go back to work and you're on restrictions. And I gave this some thought, not too much, but I have to go back and look at when they do change it in the criteria. Now, if let's just say you do no longer want to 13 months, that doesn't mean that you can't get it. So also in there states if you go back to work and you're on restriction, okay, so you can still possibly get the 13 months because if you can produce documentation that, hey, I'm in physical therapy, I'm off work for 3 months, okay, and you get the note from your doctor and say you're off work 3 months, that's 3 months. And then you get documentation, let's just say from the HR department, a supervisor, whomever, and say, okay, he or she, you're going to be on restricted duty for the next 6 months. Then that's another 6 months at the paragraph 30 for convalescence, okay, which means you'll get that 100%. So if you know going into it that, okay, I'm service connected for my knee, I'm going to get a knee replacement, what does a veteran do? You need to start thinking about it now of what documentation you need to get together to try and maximize that the paragraph 30, the number of months you're going to be at the temporary 100%. And also, speaking of that, if you're temporary 100% for a knee replacement on any joint, and you're at that 100%, and you have other disabilities that total 60% or higher, you qualify for housebound. It's going to be temporary, so if you go up to 100% for the knee replacement for 3 months, and that's all they gave you, just 3 months, then if you have other disabilities total 60% or higher, you're going to get SMCS for those 3 months, okay? So in the past, I know veterans that were had that temporary 100% paragraph 30 for that knee replacement, and they had temporary housebound SMCS for like those 13 months. Okay. So definitely keep that in mind. But yeah, I'm going to be on the lookout. I'm going to go back and do some research on that, Ray, and possibly even do a video on it. And I think we talked about it in that Kahoot game that we had last year, if I'm not mistaken. All right. I appreciate that. Let's see. Major pain, just read table 4. Said Mr. Kimball. Okay. Here's another question for Bronx. So I believe that the caregiver program is open to pre-1975 vets and post 9/11 September 2001. What about those of us in between? We need it too. Okay. I think in my live stream from November, if I'm not mistaken, go back and look at that because I shared some information and I provided some links in the description section where they changed that last October. Okay. So it used to be before October of 2020 of last year, it used to be only open for veterans that ETS had retired after 9/11, but October of last year, they opened it up to Vietnam vets. I don't remember the year time frame. And then I think in October 2020, it's supposed to be open for everybody else. So Bronx Zoo, I do have it in my notes, but I don't want to bring it up on the screen. Make sure you go back to, I think I did talk about it in my first live stream in October, and I gave a link to the different criteria for that, and it'll take you to the VA's website, and you can see the criteria from the healthcare side for the caregiver, and actually gave the different time frames when they're opening up. Okay. Stephanie Hurt says, I need to be in that class. Okay, we'll see. Okay. All right. Let's see. Let me get back to my topic here. There's a new secretary. Not yet. The VA doesn't have a new secretary, but the appointed secretary went before the VA and speaks not before the VA, but went before the Senate, and it laid out the new programs that things that he wanted to work on if he gets approved to go be the secretary of the VA. One of the, I guess the main thing that he did stress was the COVID-19, getting vets, make sure they get vaccinated and getting a hold of that. But one thing that I'm curious about, because every time a new administration comes in, they appoint a new secretary, or sometime throughout that administration's the new administration, or just any administration, that secretary of the VA may resign and they get somebody new. When they get somebody new, then they come on board and they say, "Oh, I can do it. This, I can change this, I can change that." One thing that I did want to talk about was one, I signed up with my local VA, Tampa VA Medical Healthcare Center, and I get emails. So this is how I know some of the stuff when I'm talking about the healthcare side. I get some of those emails, right? I saw one, I think it came out earlier today. But on there, they always have town hall meetings, okay? And they be with different people. And my question, I guess, to some vets out there, are you all attending those town halls? Are you screaming about the DBQs? Are you screaming about other things as it pertains to the benefit side? Okay. You got to get in those town halls and let your voice be heard. And one thing, don't take any BS answers. Okay. Think about your questions. Okay. Short, direct, and to the point. I guess if I was to attend one, I would ask, why is it that the VA has internal DBQs, but they remove the DBQs from their website and they haven't reposted them? Why don't they just repost them? I know it has to go through a process, but it's the same information that's on the internal DBQ. And second, my second question would be, why are VA employees not getting a memo stating that the VA is still accepting DBQs as long as they're actionable and sufficient for rating purposes per the guidelines? Because you got some VA employees saying they're no longer taking DBQs. You got other VA employees saying that they are. Okay. And it's just confusing to the veteran. And you don't know that because a lot of veterans that submit DBQs, they get scheduled for CMP exams, whether it be through QTC, LHI, or VS services. And they say, no, I'm not going to that exam because I submitted a DBQ that's actionable and sufficient for rating purposes. And guess what? They don't go and they get service connected, or they get an increase in whatever their DBQ, whatever they're trying to do with their DBQ. And in some of my videos, I talked about it happened to me. So if that's true, why are some VA employees thinking that they cannot accept the DBQ. All right. So I think I talked about it in one of my videos. But again, if you sign up to get those emails, then you should attend one of those town hall meetings, because at the bottom of that email will have a link, and it'll talk about where I think the one today had something about a caregiver program, or something that had to deal with the vet. Something that had to deal with the caregiver program. It didn't say for what, but I didn't even click on the link. It talked about employment services and stuff like that, and then town halls for different things. Okay, so you definitely want to sign up and get those emails so you can stay abreast upon the upcoming events and upcoming news as it pertains to the healthcare side of things. Okay. And also with this new administration, I'm curious because, I heard that the VA has increased the quotas for the Raiders. And you may say, well, Dwayne, what does that have to do with us? They still got to do a job. Keep in mind that, there is a human factor to this claims process. Okay. And when you have somebody looking at a large amount of paperwork, that takes time. If the claim is, the information that was submitted by the veteran, if they submitted a lot of paperwork, or some paperwork is not complete, that could be a problem, and just continue to prolong the claim. And also I saw an email from, I think it's AFGE, it's the federal union for the VA. And somebody was saying that in there, they were saying they were hoping that the new secretary, if the new secretary gets approved, they will start working with the union, okay, to help the employees help the veterans. But what can you do right now as a veteran? I have a lot of videos, almost 50 videos out there, and even in my educational training sessions, or even when I'm talking to clients. And I even did this with my claim: short, direct, to the point. You don't want to overload that particular person at the VA. You want to make sure you have the correct information before them. I was talking to a veteran today about high-level review, and he said, I got denied. I'm doing high-level review. So then I asked, I said, okay. He said, well, the condition was in my records, and they denied me, so I'm going to do a high-level review. And I paused for a minute, and I said, okay. And I asked him a series of questions. And I said, well, you stated it was in your records. I said, yep. So you claimed it on a direct basis. Yep. You get a CMP exam, compensation and pension exam. Yep. Do you have a copy of that CMP exam? No. Do you have a copy of the rating decision? No. Okay. So what is the grounds for high-level review? Because that VSR, RVSR did everything they were supposed to do within the guidelines of the VA regulations and policies. You were treated in service for it. They claimed on a direct basis. They scheduled for a CMP exam to obtain a medical opinion and rationale. That doctor, more than likely, gave a negative opinion. It went back to the RVSR, and they denied the benefit. So how do you win that on a high-level review? Because the VSR and RVSR did everything that they were supposed to do. Now, one important question: do you have a copy of the CMP exam? Do you know why that doctor said no? No. And that's for any claim. And even I talk about it, how did I win my appeal? There's no longer call appeals, it's high-level review. How did I win it? Okay. And one thing that really helped, I had a copy of all my exams. I had a copy of all my CMP exams. Okay. And I had a copy of my claims folder, and I took it with me in there when I was doing the video appeal hearing. Okay. So again, you got to get educated on this process, because when the VA makes a move, now it's your move, and you got to know what to do when it comes your turn. Okay. All right. So let me jump into some other questions here. Okay. Todd says, do you have any idea on how long TDIU claims have been taking after records review? That's a hard question because every region office is different. Every region office may have a different priority task list that they're working on as it pertains to claims. But what I've been seeing is normally when veterans have been having C&P exams, maybe like 14 days after they had that C&P exam, they've gotten a rating decision. That's just what I've been seeing recently. But there's no set time like, oh, it's 30 days for TDIU claims. It's, 15 days for SMC claims. That's, I don't think there's no such thing out there like that. It's just they rate them based on the oldest claims out there. So if you got a TDIU claim that's, with a data claim of June 2016, and you have a back claim that's, January 2nd, 2021, and both of them are ready for decision, then obviously I'm pretty sure management that has the regional offices that has jurisdiction over that TDIU claim, and the management would probably be pushing to get that claim done first because it's been on the books the longest. Okay, but I've never known that there'd be a set time like for different type claims to get done. One Aim Gaming. Is there such a thing as a 70-40 rule that automatically gives you a combined rating of 100? I'm not really understanding that question. One Aim Gaming. What I will say this: the closer you get to that 100%, the harder it is. Think about it this way: if your overall rating is 90%, and you plug into the calculator or you use that table, and it's let's just say it's you're even at even 90. It's going to take you 10% to get to 95% to get to 100. So if you're at overall 90 and your true evaluation is 90, and you get a 10% for some, that's 91. Okay, and it's also is going to depend on if you have any joints and any bilateral factor may come into play. So it's just going to depend. Like I said, I use a spreadsheet to give some of my clients sort of a hypothetical, if you will. It is just easier because that table, you get halfway through it, make a mistake, you got to start over. It's 10 to 15 minutes that you wasted. But I created an Excel spreadsheet that helps me get through that a little bit quicker. Okay. ATS Patriot, somebody says that comeback does absolute. Thanks for sharing. Okay, ATX Patriot. If you've been sick, man, I hope prayers go out to you. Hope you're feeling good. Don't know what happened, but I just saw that, so I just want to shout that out. Okay. I'm just going through some of these questions, everybody, so just bear with me. Trying to get these pulled up on the screen here. This thing it. Using, okay, there we go. Oh, no. Wow. Okay, I'm not going anywhere. All right, guys, I'm gonna give me 1 second. I'm gonna kind of skipped ahead on me there, so I'll get back to these questions in a minute. And one topic I want to talk about, I've been receiving a lot of questions about DBQs. Okay, had someone left a comment and they were saying, Congress signed this law in the law that the VA has to put the DBQs, made them put the DBQs back on the website. And I was like, oh man. So I went out to the website and they were long over there. So I replied to the comment and I said, hey, share the link, if you can, share the link so you can, so other people, other vets can see it. And I guess, it wasn't a link because they never responded. But what I want to say is that I said this in my videos. They haven't posted the DBQs. Okay. I know that, like I said, Congress signed something saying, they're supposed to put them back up. And I've also talked about in some of my videos, I don't think that they're coming back. I hope that they do. Okay. I pray that they do because it'll help a lot of veterans. I'm just not confident, but man, I hope I am wrong and they do come back. But think of this. They come back. Then what? Are you going to go out and get educated on them? Are veterans still going to make the same mistakes that they made when they had them on their website? I did a couple, I think maybe 2 or 3 videos on it. And one of the things that I talked about, one of the common mistakes that I've seen veterans make is the exam was not done in person. Okay. That is the main, that's the main culprit right there. Okay. Now, if they do come back, I think that the VA is going to be even more stringent on the vets. There's going to be more information. They really going to be telling RVSRs, look, hey, look for this, and this. And they're already doing it. Was information reviewed? Was it done in person? You can be out of state. If that doctor says that it was done in person, that's what they're looking for. It has to be done in person. It can't be done by video. And I talk to veterans on a daily basis, and they're still making that mistake. And I don't know why. Okay. Maybe they don't believe fat meat is greasy. Okay. Who knows? That's one of the main mistakes. Veterans are not getting these done in person. Now, if they do come back, I'm going to do my research and I'm going to do a video, and then I'm going to also do a training for everyone as well. But at that point, you have got to get educated. Okay. You've got to get educated. There's so much information in the M21 about it. I even did a YouTube video where I did a screenshot of like the definition of a DBQ. And then when they updated it, I showed the new update. And they took out the last bullet comment as it pertains to majority of DBQs are used by private physicians. Okay, so if you go to M21 and you look at the definition of DBQs, that bullet comment is no longer in there. So some things, if I see something in M21, I'll take a screenshot of it and I'll save it on a thumb drive. Okay, and when I did the video, went back and I was putting together some slides and I show that. So if they do come back, if you're not in that M21 or you're not taking educational training or doing your own research or whatever, and you just go out and get a DBQ, you're rolling the dice. Okay, so if they do come back, you need to be educated. You need to get in the M21 and see how it affects you. Go through that DBQ and read it from top to bottom and see, what's what. And I did a training on first train I did on a PTSD review DBQ was last August. I had about 5 or 6 people in the class, and they found it so rewarding. And it was about an hour and a half long, a lot of questions. They got a lot of good feedback from it. And people was like, man, I just didn't know that this what was needed. Okay. So before you go out and spend money, understand what you have to do as a veteran and what the guidelines are, the VA, as it pertains to these DBQs. Now, people say, oh, they're supposed to do this, they're supposed to do that. Hey, yep, you're right. But you need to follow the M21 and the 38 CFR. Because if you don't, you're going to go to the end of the line. That's going to be a long line. And then they're going to say, nope, you got to go to the CMP exam. And then you're just going to be in a world of hurt. And you're not going to know what to do. Okay. All right. So, yeah. So that was pretty much it. I want to keep this to about an hour. So I'm just going to go through here. I'm seeing a lot of questions. So I'm going to go through here and I'm going to take some more questions and, see what everybody has to say. Oh yeah, and Ray, I figured out. You see, I got those questions down at the bottom of I figured that out, so I'll have to tell you about it. Kenneth says, I have 20% for back now. I have a CMP exam Saturday. What do I need to do for increased percent? My back is much worse now. To get increase, I cannot work any job for more than 1 or 2 hours without taking a break. Well, first thing, Kenneth, I would say, go back and watch my video on do you know what your service connected for? And you still have time. And in the description section, I don't know if I have how do you receive a summary breakdown letter? Okay, so real quick, everybody, this is how you receive a summary breakdown letter. Since a lot of people don't like to click that show more button and do some research, and I give it to you right there in that description section. So I'm gonna give it to you. Okay, real quick. This is how you get that summary breakdown letter. You contact 800-827-1000. Okay, that's the VA call center. And you want to ask them for a summary breakdown letter to include diagnostic codes. Not a summary benefit letter, that's something totally different. A summary breakdown letter to include the diagnostic codes. They can email it to you. I just did some training for a company Tuesday, and one of the employees, we did it on Zoom, and one of the employees volunteered to stand up at the end, call this number, and I think it was maybe a 2 or 3 minute conversation, and he had the email before he even hung the phone up. Okay, now why is that important? Because on there is going to give you the diagnostic code for your back. I'm assuming, and you let me know, you leave me a comment and let me know if I'm wrong. But if you get that letter tomorrow, I'm assuming the diagnostic code for your back is 5237. I could be wrong, but if I'm right, leave a comment in this video and let me know if I'm right or wrong. Now, why is that important? You go to 38 CFR subpart C, the rating schedule. You look at the criteria for the 40% for the back. And I can tell you what it is. Forward flexion of the thoracolumbar spine, 30 degrees or less. So what that means is if you're standing up, the further you bend, the less the percentage, okay? So just think you're here, it's full, you're standing straight up, you're bending forward right there. That's 30 degrees, that's 40%. Then you get here, that's 20%. Then you get here, that's 10%. Full range of motion. If you see my hand, full range of motion, that means you can touch your toes with pain, 10%, without pain, 0%, okay? So that's how you know. And that's what I was talking about in my last video, one of my last videos, do you know what your service connected for? Okay, and that's what it is, because when you get that summary breakdown letter, you look at those 4-digit diagnostic codes, and that's something that I talked about in my educational training on how to be successful on the VA disability compensation claims process, because knowing what information to go look for, and then you can make a sound judgment from there. All right. Okay, we got major pain. Another question. Caregiver asked, how are you daily living? Do you need aid in attendance? Need someone with bathe you feet? Okay, that's what I kind of figured. So Bronx Zoo, major pain was just giving a little bit of feedback there. Thank you. Okay. Stefan says, my claims keep getting denied. They say my info is too old, but my information was filed after my original denial. They also said, I could use original medical records as a nexus. Wow, that is real confusing. Did they actually say in the rating decision that your information was old? Shocking that a rater would actually write that. They also said I could use original medical records as a nexus. Could be. Again, you're creating that link. If you're claiming on a direct basis, again, you have to understand the 5 ways of service connection. I'll just go through them real brief. I'm not going to give any examples because I talked about them in some other videos. Pre-service aggravation, direct, secondary, increase, and presumptive. Presumptives, what do you have? 1 year presumptive under 38 CFR 3.309 subpart A. You have 3 year presumptive, 7 year presumptive, which I believe is MS and ALS, if I'm not mistaken. Can't resume contaminated water. Gulf War undiagnosed illness presumptive, and Agent Orange presumptive. Okay, so if you're claiming on a direct basis, what do you have in your medical records that shows that link? And then if you're doing a supplemental, reopening a claim, what do you need? You need new evidence. What is new evidence? New evidence is evidence that was not previously used in that rating decision that was used to deny that particular condition. Okay. Hope I didn't go too fast there. See what else we got. All right. Meathead, Mr. Kimball, service connected for bilateral pes planus, 0%. Recently diagnosed with bilateral plantar fasciitis, going for an increase for pes planus. I want to claim plantar fasciitis secondary to my pes planus link all. You can do that. I don't know if it's changed. I'm pretty sure you're at 0%. They're going to combine the two. I don't know if it's changed, if they break those out still for plantar fasciitis. Probably not. They probably just include all of them. But again, I think I can't remember the diagnostic code for pes planus. 52. Somebody help me out. What's the diagnostic code for pes planus? 5237, I believe. 5327. I can't remember. Like I said, I got my office. It's my rating schedule around here somewhere. Yeah, go and look at that so you can see what that criteria is. There's a lot of criteria for the flat fleet / pes planus. Okay. Okay, who we got? Bell, T. Bell. What type of diagnostic codes are useful? Is it ICD codes or SWD? I don't know what SWD stands for. ICD codes are like, I guess they would be like medical, for like medical billing or something like that. But you'll see it on the DBQ. The ICD code is just, I guess, a medical number that relates it to that particular diagnosis. So when you say T-Bell, when you say what diagnosis codes are useful, I would say the ICD. I mean, if you know it, that's fine. But if the doctor says you have a diagnosis of it, I don't see why the ICD code is that important, especially if the doctor says, okay, you got a diagnosis of diabetes. Then if you go look for the ICD code, the only thing it's going to tell you represents diabetes, right? So as long as the doctor gives a proper diagnosis, I think you should be good. Okay, we got ATS Patriots says that Raymond Blackman, the biggest takeaway for February 7th is convalescence for knee and hip replacement is 5 months instead of 13 months. Yeah, ATS Patriot. I can't remember what it came out with something. And also, if it changes after February 7th, I'm going to put it on my calendar because if you look at diagnostic code 5055, right underneath that, it should change that in the rating schedule. That should be that change. Okay. All right, Johnny said Little River, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Yeah, the reason why I asked that, Johnny, I used to go to Bike Week up there, and I used to stay in the Cherry Grove section up there by Little River. Okay. All right, let's see. We're going to take some more questions here. Lewis says, service connected at 10% for the right knee instability due to osteoarthritis with history of limited extension, 5010, 5257. When you see a diagnostic code like that, where it tells me 5257 is the instability and the 5010 is a representation of the degenerative or arthritis. And the 5257 is the actual joint, which is the knee, which represents instability. So you are correct. Service connected for systematic residuals of the right knee injury other than disability. Acceptability. Okay. Diagnostic 52, 59. Okay. Thanks for sharing. I didn't know if that was a question or not. James says, how long it take to get answer on your high level review? Everyone, these, I don't think anybody can answer these questions other than the person that's assigned your case. I've seen veterans, get answers in a matter of weeks, and other veterans it took a few months. It's going to depend on did you do an informal? Did you request an informal conference? Did they call you? Did you have to call them back? It's going to be a lot of things are going to come into play as to how long it's going to take. Okay. But I don't think there's no set time like 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Each case is going to be different. Okay. So, I have a VBA hearing February 16th, and the VA doctors put in my medical records. Okay. All right. Here we go. Johnny, VA requests a medical opinion for headaches and vertigo for IU. Don't know if that's a question or just you're just stating that. ATA Express said the is 5 months for hips and knees starting February 7th. Yeah, I'm going to do a little bit more research on that ATS Patriot because I want to do a video on it. But again, what we're talking about here, you hear me say, I want to do research on it. So if you fall in that category, you have to do research on it. You see ATS Patriot is giving some good information, 5 months for hips and knees. But how do you get to that 10th month? How do you get an extra, get back up to 13 months? Also in there, like I said earlier, it talks about restrictions, going back to work and restrictions. Are you in physical therapy? Like I said, I just briefly glanced over it. So there's still more research to be done on that. And especially if you're thinking about getting a knee replacement and you requesting that paragraph 30 convalescence, you want to do your research. Trust me. Okay. Fred Seymour. What are the chances of Vietnam era claim for asthma and sleep apnea that I was treated for on active duty? Well, again, look at the 5 ways of service connection. If you're claiming that on a direct basis, what do you need? Injury, diagnosis, complaint, a treatment and service, and a current diagnosis. From there, you should get a CMP exam. Okay. So regardless of what it is, that's the way the process goes. Okay. But again, it's going to depend on that person that's looking at your claim. Okay. Jay Thompson says, can the VA ever reduce 100% P&T for PTSD? Wow. I've never in my years, when I used to be a rater, I've never seen it happen. So I'm not going to say that it can't. I did a video about the protection rules. I kept it to like the 5-year rule and the 20-year, because when I started to do the research, I was in the M21 and there was about 15 different M21 references on it. Okay. But you have to ask yourself, how long, what are you service connected for? And the percentages for each one of those, how long they've been in effect. And then you got to dive into the M21 and 38 CFR to see what could or what couldn't transpire. Okay. Because everybody's claim is different. All right. But the answer to the question, I've never seen that happen before. I've actually seen veterans that are 100% P&T requested that they no longer receive 100% P&T. And yes, that has happened before. Okay. And, unfortunately, the VA granted their wishes. All right. Oh, man. I'm just going to say Todd. I don't want to pronounce that incorrectly. I have a CMP exam for deviated septum, which I'm trying secondary to sleep apnea. VS forms say I don't need to bring anything. Should I actually take any records or forms? Are they telling the truth? I never had an exam, a CMP exam at a third party contractor. Okay. But I've heard veterans say they've taken documentation and some of the examiners looked at it. But I'm pretty sure if you go in there with 500 pages, if I was your CMP examiner, I wouldn't be looking at no 500 pages. If there's a page here showing that, maybe you had surgery for a deviated septum or some treatment or something, it's like a couple of pages. Yeah. I wouldn't go in there with 1,000 pages saying, hey, look at this. I don't, they don't have that time. So I would say be selective. Just going through some of these questions. I'm done with the topics that I was going to talk about. So I'm just going to take about another 15 minutes to just go through some questions here. Okay. Stephanie says, I just attended the Mayor's Office of Veterans Affairs meeting in Washington, D.C. today. Okay, Stephanie, what did they say? What was some of the feedback? Please share. Yeah. John says, Stephanie, how did it go? You a claims rep? Okay. See, wait a minute. Okay. For a range of motion and another for instability. So yeah, ATS Patriot is right. You actually, that's one of the things that they have to separate out. When you say instability, it's lateral instability. So again, look in the rating schedule, and I think it's 10, 20, and 30%, which is mild, moderate, or I think it's mild, moderate, or severe. So you definitely want to look up those definitions as well. Piccadilly, Dwayne, they screen these calls, and if you're asking questions as such, you won't get through. My experience with the town halls, they ensure they look at if they are doing great work for us. Man, it's sad to hear because you would think they want to hear some of the bad along with the good, because you can't say there's all good and no bad. So, man, I would just say, veterans, just keep trying. Just keep trying. Let's see here. Just going through more questions. Okay. Borders. Can you please enlighten me regarding the new DBQ laws, because the VA is still trying to send veterans who file a ready claim, don't know what that is, with DBQs that's sufficient for rating purposes, CMP exam. Like I stated earlier, one, you have to make sure that your DBQ is actionable and sufficient for rating purposes. One of the services I provide, we look at those DBQs to see if they are truly actionable and sufficient for rating purposes. You have to make sure that one thing you have to make sure, one, that it's not expired. I talk about this in some of my previous videos from last year. One, the DBQ is not expired. Two, there's done in person. Three, all boxes are completed. If it's NA, it's NA. If it's none, it's done. It needs to be in there. And if it's completed by the right person. So when I submitted my last claim, I did an increase for migraines and went to the private doctor. And this is before they removed the DBQs and before the migraine DBQ expired. And I talked about this in my experience. Went to the exam. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't go to the exam. But I filed a claim. They scheduled, the VSR scheduled scheduled an exam. I was like, you got the wrong person. I'm not going. So I called QTC, and they basically lied to me. It was like, oh, you got to go. You can't do this. And they didn't know my background, and I just refused to go. 2 weeks later, I got a rating decision granted the increase. I knew that my DBQ was actionable and sufficient for rating purposes. Okay. Just don't assume just because a doctor completed it that it is. You need to have you need to know that it is. And like I said, there's going to be one of the trainings that I'm going to do next month on one of the DBQs, but it'll give you an idea. So when you do get a DBQ completed, you'll know what to look for to make sure that it's actionable and sufficient for rating purposes. High-level review is a DRO. Yeah, sometimes I think they got some RVSRs doing that as well. But more so, how do you win a high-level review? I did a video on it. How do you fail on high-level review? I did a video on it. Okay. A lot of people, they say, oh, I just saw it, or they'll ask me questions. I'm like, man, go to that video. Trust me, there's a lot of good information that I talk about. Okay. Gregory asks, do you recommend filing a claim for 2 secondary conditions simultaneously or separately? Surprisingly, it's funny you should ask that. I get asked that question a lot. And I would say this, when it came to my claim, people say, oh, the VA frowns upon you claiming multiple conditions. When I was RVSR, if a veteran claimed 2 conditions or 48 conditions, I still had to work that claim. I've worked claims where it was 48 conditions, and that claim was a lot easier than the veteran that claimed 2 conditions. Okay. So again, just be educated on what you're doing when you're doing that, or when you're filing any claim. But me, I filed the claims. I think altogether I probably had maybe 10 different claims that filed 10 different separate claims. That was maybe new, secondary, increases, maybe more than that. I have to go back through my file. But it was times I claimed 15 different things, and those times I only claimed one thing. But that'll be up to you if you want to do that. There you go. HH Patriot says, what do you think is sufficient for rating purposes might not be necessarily sufficient for rating purpose from a rater's perspective? Man, that's what I've been preaching. So how do you get educated on knowing if that DBQ is actionable and sufficient? I'm glad you said that, HH Patriots. That's what I've been pushing. And like I said, I do it in trainings. I've even, and in that training, I have a Jane Doe DBQ. Okay. I go line by line. All right. And then at the end, I show the diagnostic code criteria and how it relates to that DBQ. So you can get a better understanding of it. Okay. Again, there, I'm not going to even harp on anymore. HS Patriot, he said it. Okay. Here's another one of those questions. How do you get a copy of the CMP exam? Somebody please answer that question. Look in the description section for your request. Where you submit it? Janesville, Wisconsin. What's the address? It's in the description section for your request. Freedom of Information Act. A lot of that information is in the description section of my videos, people. You have to go and start doing your research, clicking on stuff. Okay. And I'm trying to stress it more in my videos, saying, hey, click on that show more button right there. I think it's, right there. Click on it. Show more button. I don't know if you can do it now, but if you can do it now, everybody click on that show more button. I think you all can see it. I can't see it on my screen. Click on it and somebody tells me what you see. All right. Not picking on you, S. Johnson, just having some good fun here. Okay. Jay Finley, I got denied for a supplemental first, and now I've had a high-level review since October, and they didn't give me a CMP exam for either one, and I've yet to hear back from the high-level review. Again, that's pretty much an open-ended question. Whatever you claim, where does it fall under the 5 ways of service connection? Did you get a CMP exam? Do you have a copy of that CMP exam? Go back and look at my high-level review video that might help you out. Okay. A lot of good information in that video. Jay Thompson, do 100% PNT claims get processed faster? do they go through a different lane? You don't know a claim is 100%. No, I don't think any rater knows when they get that claim in their queue. I don't think anyone knows without they have to review it first to see, if you even want 100% P&T. Okay, so they don't know that until they get in the claim. So, but it's that they don't go through a different lane, because when you're rating, you're looking at it's a computer screen. You click on the claim and you just start working it. If the veteran claimed 2 different things, you got all exams back, then the rater starts to build that rating. And then at the end, the system will say, oh, wait a minute, there's overall 100%. You got to take issue with Chapter 35, which is P&T. Okay, but they don't know that a lot of times until they get into the claim and start reviewing it. Here we go. Would this be peer meeting if I'm rated for a limited extension and status post 5259? I have to look at the guideline. There is something like I know for the knee, you could be rated, like say for the right knee, you could be rated for the right knee extension. You could be rated for right knee flexion, and you could be rated for right knee instability. And I think that's for the hip. I have to go back and look at my notes on that, but I would have to go back and look through. I want to say no, don't hold me to it. I would have to go back and look at the 5259 and then the 38 CFR to make sure that it's not pyramid. I don't think so, but if 5259 falls under, I don't think it falls under extension and flexion, because that's 5260 and 5261. Then the instability, the instability should be 525. I have to go back and research that. I got my rating schedule there on the floor. But if you go to a rating schedule, and at the beginning of the musculatorial, it'll have which all body systems. Okay, so at the beginning of that particular body system, the first part is talking about do not separate, combine, give the highest evaluation of the 2. So I would say go there, because I don't have it in front of me, so I don't want to say no or yes. But I know you could be rated for those 3 different things as it pertains to the knee, the flexion, the extension, and the instability. Just still going through here, guys. Every time I get towards the bottom, there you go. Come back, Craig. Hit that thumbs up button for Dwayne. I appreciate it. I know it's probably cold up there where you're at. Come back, Craig. It's cold here. I am in Florida. It was 62 today, and it was extremely cold. I'm rubbing it in. Okay. I'm just going back. I had some. Yeah, there we go. It popped the head on me here with these questions. So yeah, hit that thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, leave me a comment. HJ Space said VA town halls or PR shows with a lot of political double speak. They used to try to make those mandatory when I was RVSR, and I was like, you know what? Man, I didn't pay attention to them. It was just I hated it, because when we got out of those meetings, they were like, "Oh, we're in the meeting. We're about the vet," and then after the meeting, it was like, "Hey, you had this claim in your queue for a while. Veterans was back to being numbers." So 100% P&T, mental increase in GERD, different. I call e-benefits to close out the different items, and VS is doing a records review. Is that normal? Not really. Not sure what you mean by that. VS doing records review. I don't know why they would do a records review. They don't do records review, just the exams. Um, Come back, Douglas. Town halls never return calls. Man, that is that's sad. That's sad. That's sad. See, Chris says, should I continue to see my VA primary care provider after being awarded 100% PNT? Hey, Chris, good question. Because I get a lot of comments and it's around, can I be reduced if I don't get continued treatment? There's things that I'm service connected for that I don't get continued treatment for. Um, and the VA is not going to pull my record and say, hey, check to see if Dwayne's been going to the VA for this, and this. And if not, we're going to reduce them. It doesn't work like that. Okay. That would be up to you if you want to get continued treatment. Some stuff I do, like I get, knee braces, I get custom orthotic inserts, I get inserts, back braces. Just had my annual physical a couple of weeks ago. Just told the doctor this, is still going on. I do a lot of emailing to my primary care physician and my healthy vet, especially. I even did that before COVID, if I need a new prescription, because the wait times are a long time to get in there and see him, then I got to drive like 45 minutes. So it's just easier for me to email. And there's a record of it there. But the VA a rater is not going to go back and be like, they don't tell raters, oh, go pull these 100 files and see if these veterans are still getting treatment. It's too many claims. It's too large of a backlog for them to do that. And normally reductions happen when veterans go in, they're asking for increases, or they don't know, they're not educated on the process. They don't know if that percentage for that particular condition has been in effect less than 5 years. If it's been more than 5 years, did that one CMP exam that they had that CNC'd showed improvement, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So there's a lot of variables that go into place that have to take place. But, if you want to continue to seek treatment, that would be up to you. I don't tell people they should or they shouldn't. Okay, Kay says, let's give DK some likes. Show him the love. Show me some love. We got 104 people. I think that's a record for me. I appreciate it. Let's see. My last claim had 2 secondaries. Come back. Craig says my last claim had 2 secondaries. Yeah, I've seen claims that had like 3 or 4 secondaries. So I don't think there's a limit on that. Elizabeth Sheriff. Hello, Dwayne. VAE benefits show I was approved for home adaptation and automobile with dollar. Yet they kept saying they didn't see it. They illegally took out my approval and put me back at square one. Wow. Somebody must have made a huge mistake. Get a copy, submit a FOIA request, get a copy of that C file and see what happened. Question is, did you receive something in the mail granting that? Okay. That's what I would be most curious about. How long the waiting for a high level review for an answer? Can't answer that. Don't know. I'm pretty sure it's different for each claim. Go to the VMAC and request a copy of your records. You can get a copy of your medical records from there. And actually, I was asking something, and now what I found out, I was asking for some records. And due to COVID, the local outpatient clinic, they weren't letting you in there unless you had an appointment for something. So I finally got a hold of the lady after like a week or two, man. I tell you, it was crazy. So you can fax. It's a form. Man, I can't remember the name of the form, but it's the same one that you fill out when you go in person. You can fax that to them or mail it to them, and they can mail you those records. Now, my question to them was, how do you know it's me that's sending in that request? Because somebody had your social security number, so I thought that was a little bit weird. But you can do it, all right? Come back, Craig says, I don't want to click on it. I want you to explain it to me over and over. Took the words right out of my mouth. All right. Click the show more button. Click the show more button to get more information in the description section. That's too funny. Okay. All right, guys. I'm going to get ready to wrap it up. I'm already over that hour. I'm going to do 10 more minutes here. I'm going to do about 10 more minutes here and see questions here. Man, that was too funny. I almost didn't get that comeback, Craig, but yeah. So just keep clicking on that. I don't want to click on it. Okay. Kenneth said, call the number you gave me, a breakdown summary on the way by email. Did you just call them now? I'm assuming you probably, are you on Pacific Standard Time? See, so somebody did it. There you go. Kenneth said he did it, and he's waiting on the email. A lot of times those emails will come through before you get off the phone with them, depending on, if you got other questions for them, Okay. Cerebral One says, receive my claims files per your instructions. Cerebral One, where was those instructions? Please tell us all where was those instructions. See my C file per your instructions on submitting an Irish inquiry. There you go. I received the C file shortly after submitting the inquiry, and another CD-ROM disk followed too. And so that's exactly what happened to me. That is exactly what happened to me. So I did a video on that. Can you file a complaint? I think it was called, can you file a complaint with the VA or inquiry with the VA, yes or no? And I talked about that. So Cerebral One, a good job. You followed what I did. I'm glad you got it. Now, the next thing is go through that claims file and click on each PDF link. And you're going to be, I guarantee you're going to be surprised at some things that you see, because you're going to find some things that you never thought or that you could remember that would possibly be in your claims file. Okay. Let's see. Okay, here we go. I have service connected for tinnitus and have been diagnosed with migraines twice, once through VA and next through QTC. I would like to know, why would I be denied service connection for migraine secondary to tinnitus? If you were denied, get a copy of that exam. Not all the time, and another thing, everybody, the vets, they'll call me and they'll say, well, I got diagnosed at the VA hospital. Just because you got diagnosed at the VA hospital doesn't mean that's an automatic grant for service connection. It still has to fall under the 5 ways of service connection, and you possibly still will have to get a CMP exam. Okay, so just because you got diagnosed at QTC, LHI, wherever, and especially on the healthcare side at the VA, doesn't translate to automatic service connection on the benefit side at VBA. Okay. Ormy Sniper says, I have had multiple TBIs while in Iraq, 2 in PH, and have had headaches ever since. I'm going to submit a claim for TBI, but do I claim the headache secondary to TBIs or standalone? Actually, migraines and tinnitus are common complications of TBIs. So I haven't seen one of those DBQs in a long time. ATX Patriot. I would ask you, in those DBQs, do they still ask, does a veteran or does a patient or veteran have the following? So for example, on a diabetes DBQ, there's a section that asks, does the veteran have erectile dysfunction? Does the veteran have hypertension? Does the veteran have nephropathy, renal, dealing with the kidneys and the eye condition? Does the veteran have diabetic peripheral neuropathy of the upper and lower extremities? Those are common complications secondary to diabetes, which migraines and tinnitus are common complications secondary to TBI, but I don't remember if those are on there. But if you're claiming TBI, I want to be on the safe side and claim, you can claim both of those secondary. It wouldn't hurt, and if they grant the TBI and they're able to grant the tinnitus at 10 and the migraines at 10, 30, or 50, they can break those out and it can raise your overall evaluation. Okay, let's see. Chris, I see War Eagle. No, I'm just teasing. See things says Alabama. Thanks for the reply, Dwayne. Appreciate you, your time and all you do. Hey, I like doing this, and I tell people, the reason why I do it. And if you haven't seen my video on that, the reason why I do it is because when I was working at the VA as a rating specialist, I was having a really hard time with my claim, and it took me 4 years to maximize my benefits. Okay, and it made me really upset, and I felt that the VA could have done more. And since then, they have done more. And I'm not bad mouthing the VA at all. Okay, because I look at the process they have now to back then, and they have come a long way, but there's still more work to do. All right, but as veterans, we have to take some ownership on that as well, because we're not doing our due diligence and getting educated. A lot of veterans are, but there are a large population of veterans that are not. Okay. So we as veterans, we have to take some ownership in that. We just can't say it's all on the VA and they're doing this and they're doing that. Could they be doing more? Yes. But can we as veterans be doing more? Yes. And that's why I'm on here trying to educate you and share as much information as I can, because I don't want you to fall into the same pitfalls that I fell in or run into some of the same hurdles that I did. Now, obviously, each claim is a little bit different, but still, once you figure out what you're trying to do with your claim, then, it should help alleviate some of that frustration and help you to be able to maximize your benefits. Pickney says, if you have not utilized your VA whole health clinic or acupuncture for pain management, you're missing out on a great treatment. Oh, so you're saying that acupuncture is a good thing? Okay, all right. Kenneth says, oh man, call the number you gave me, breakdown summary on the way back. Okay, all right. Doesn't tell me you're an Auburn fan. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm originally from Missouri, so I'm not a big University of Missouri fan. They are in the SEC, so whenever they playing, I do root for them. All right. Picture says, Wayne Kim, I thank you for continuing to pay it forward to our fellow veterans. You're great at what you're doing to share and educate others. Hey, I appreciate it. That means a lot to me. And like I say, I'm still going to be bringing you more videos. I didn't get to do as many videos as I did as I wanted to this month. I'm telling you, after the first year, I just been slammed with calls and replying to emails, comments, doing training. I'm doing a lot of training now for a lot of companies on that they're I'm training the veterans on how to be successful in the claims process. So it's just been kind of overwhelming. But hey, I'm gonna stay in the fight with you guys and stay in the trenches with you, because leave no vet behind. All right, okay. So that's it. There's no other comments there. All right. So hey, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up, guys. I'm gonna do about another minute or so. But I just want to, thank everybody, for tuning in, spending the time with me. Like I said, I'm still going to be doing these live streams once a month. May do it twice a month, just depending on, some stuff comes out, of the VA. And that way I can share that with you. So we see, I'll be in Tampa on the 10th through the 22nd. So you need some Lysol or Clorox wipe. Hey, you know what? I got plenty of them. Do you work? Are you giving them away? Well, we do have plenty of those, but hey, if you're giving them away, I don't turn down anything but my collar. All right. But again, with that being said, I'm still going to be bringing, training. Don't get a lot of people signing up for it, but I'm telling you, talking about a lot of good things in that training and educating people. But I'm still going to be putting out videos. Like I said, I got my vision board there. Looking at doing next video, favorable findings and rating decisions. And RDBQ is coming back. I've already did that one. Why are you still failing with the VA claims process? Somebody's calling me on my business line. I am closed. Says just for you, I'll bring you both. Okay. Again, Happy New Year, everybody. I just want to say Happy New Year, everybody. Thanks for joining in today. Please leave me a comment. Like I said, hit the thumbs up button. Share the video with other, this live stream or any other videos with other veterans, and just be on the lookout for some new videos. But still, everybody, you have to, the training, two things, training and hit that show more button, okay? And look at a lot of information. Say one question here. How long does it take to get CMP exams? It's different. Brooklyn vet. What I've been seeing with some of my clients, I had a client submit a claim about a week ago, and they called me like a week later, and they were getting scheduled for CMP exams. My first CMP exam, I didn't get in. I filed a claim, and then 10 months later, I got a CMP exam. So my first CMP exam is 10 months. But like I said, the VA is getting a lot better at it. Okay. Jake Thompson, will the next training be an in-person training or online? Ms. Thompson, looking at the description section, but I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, all of my training is live. So I share my webcam, I share my screen, I do it on Zoom. I do change up the link sometimes, but it's done on Zoom and it's in person. None of it is pre-recorded. When you're in the training, you see me and you can ask me questions in real time like now. But actually, I can hear you. But now I can't. But in training, you get to speak, you get to talk, unmute your mic. So it's good. All right. Thank you, Dwayne. Appreciate your support. Yes, need that training. Like I said, I've been trying to get it updated all week. But I promise you by COB tomorrow, 5 p.m. tomorrow, it'll be updated for the month of February. But the last class for January is this Saturday, I believe 9 to 12 or 10 to 1, one of the two. Okay. Brooklyn Vet says he's in, there in Jacksonville. That's not Florida. That's Georgia. I'm in the Tampa area. So that just teasing. It's just teasing. Just teasing. Okay. Sorry, everybody. Appreciate it. Thanks for taking the time, listen to me talk. Went over 30 minutes, but I just wanted to make sure I got through a lot of the questions. So please like, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe, leave me a comment, whether it be good or bad. Dwayne, you talk too much. One last thing, come back Douglas. Yep, got it. You're the last one. No one cares more about your claim than you. There you go. Just like getting promoted in the military, if you had to put together a packet, guess what? Nobody cares more than you. All right. So with that being said, hey, stay vigilant with your claim. Go to my website, kmd89.com. I'm going to type it in the thing here, everybody. But guess what? Where can you see the link? Where can you find the link? Or is it over here? It's one of the two. Come back crazy. Just keep telling me. All right. So show more. Click the show more button and you'll see the link. All right. So anyway, hey, again, Happy New Year. Thanks again. Stay vigilant with your claim. Keep bringing the comments. I had a lot of comments saying, hey, I got my 100%. of watching, becoming, watch some of your videos. I appreciate it. Take care. I'll see you in my next educational video or my next educational training. If not, I'll see you in the next live stream next month. Take care.